second to confirm that we are streaming.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning. You are all set.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I forgot where I was, so I'll just start from the beginning. Forgive me. Uh, this is the West Hartford Public Safety Committee meeting. Happy New Year to everybody. This committee meeting will be available for live viewing on WHCI YouTube channel. This is a virtual meeting, and today's date is Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024, and the time is 8:01. Welcome to everyone around the virtual table, as well as to our listening audience. I'd like to call the meeting to order and recognize all of those around the virtual screen. So we have our town manager, Rick Ledwith. We have Councillor McGinnis. We have Councillor Alberto Cortez. We have Mayor Sherry Cantor, Councillor Deb Poland. We have Deputy Mayor Ben Winograd. We have Chief Riddick, Chief Priest, and his team. We have AC Riccabon, and we have AC Tierra, and we have Fire Marshal Grimaldi. And I would just ask Chief Priest to have your team members sitting behind you identify themselves, and I just want to recognize AC Hugh O'Callahan. I can't hear you all for some reason. Can anybody else hear them, or is it just me?
No, can't hear them.
Let's try that.
There you go.
Hugh O'Callahan, Assistant Chief. Good morning. Eric Munsell, Deputy Chief of Training.
Jared Smith, Deputy Chief of 2.
Bob McHugh, Emergency Management.
Rocco Lodato, EMS Officer.
All right. Thank you all so much. And I hope your new year is off to a great start. However, would you all just indulge me? I do want to take a pause in terms of acknowledging another officer involved shooting and the loss of an officer in the line of duty in Greensboro, North Carolina. I want to say this is troubling because we're starting off in a new year, and here we have another death. And this is also a community where my daughter resides and happened to be covering this story. So I identify with this, especially because I'm chairing the Public Safety Committee, and I know I talk about this quite often, where I know you all sign up to serve and protect, but you also are human beings and you also have families. So my prayers and heart goes out to this family who are in mourning. I understand that he had a wife and a child, as well as the whole entire community is just at a loss and in just grieving and mourning for the loss of this officer who was a sergeant and I believe had 23 years of service, and he was a legacy officer. He's also off duty, but because this is what he signed up to do, he knew something was wrong and stepped in and unfortunately lost his life. So if we can just pause for a moment to remember your fellow officers. Thank you. All right, so the first item that follows our call to order is our business items, and I'm going to pivot over to Town Manager Ledwith and find out if we have anything pressing. Otherwise, we can jump into communications and staff reports.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. Nothing under business items or communications this morning. We can probably move into staff reports through you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And we will begin with Chief Priest and his team for our fire department updates.
Morning, everybody. Happy New Year. We have a light report this month to discuss, but I do have a written report that's been submitted. We're waking up this morning to a little bit of news. Looks like it's breaking out of Somers, Connecticut, that they had an overnight double fatal fire. It's, early reports, but obviously, our thoughts are out with that fire department and those families who are affected. But it does dovetail slightly into some of my remarks last month about the efficiency of our system here and our prevention efforts, our system that allows for a good construction codes and our response system. So, no fire chief or anybody ever wants to have one of these critical incidents occur. They do happen. Unfortunately, I'm just pleased to be in West Hartford with the support here that we have inside of our system. Moving into some personnel recognition, we always try and think about the people, to discuss on our public safety committee meetings. And the folks that I've chosen to kind of talk about are all those members who worked over the holidays. This is a tough job. The type of work is difficult, but both in police, law enforcement, our dispatch, and in the fire service as well. People leave their families, they come in and they do tough things. So I just wanted to extend my my congratulations to them. Or appreciation for working the holidays. Deputy Chief Beebe and A.O. Frega have retired, so we wish them all the best. We had 2 new recruits just graduate the academy. They've been assigned onto shift, and we welcome 2 new members to the department. Casey Farrell and Shelby Mitchell have just recently joined us. So we're looking forward to that. That means that we're fully staffed at the moment, which is good. We're happy and appreciate all of the foresight from Human Resources helping us fill those positions. As far as calls for this month, working in collaboration with the PD, we responded to several serious motor vehicle accidents. We know that those are, investigative heavy afterwards for our law enforcement colleagues, but several of those actually involve some extrication. So that put our new squad 1, kind of skills to the test and some of the new equipment. I wouldn't say it's exactly new, but it just highlights the moves that we've made with that apparatus to equip it properly. So appreciative of the members who have been taking a lot of training to support our technical rescue efforts. Wanted to provide a slight follow-up on truck 3, which we discussed last month that had the bucket tilt issue. We've been able to get in contact with the technical service advisor for the manufacturer. And after a discussion with him, we do believe that it is worthy of sending it out to him in Pennsylvania for a more intensive evaluation. Through our discussions with him, I definitely believe that there's an opportunity for us to locate the source. If we are not able to locate the source, then obviously we've arrived at the ultimate conclusion. We will expect to have that report back by the end of the month. And along the idea of some of our notable activity this month as well, I did want to make another quick shout out to our community support officer, Andrew Eccles, and one of our part-time OEM members, Bob Hilborn. When I was reviewing our annual report this year, it really looks like we've done a lot of outreach in the area of CPR. So we've trained like 465 people in CPR across our residents and through our CERT team members. So I thought that was a pretty good number, and it's really wonderful to see that type of outreach, and kind of shows how this prevention and response go hand in hand. So lastly, as I close out my report, I'm looking at the winter weather approaching for the weekend. Just a good reminder, we haven't seen it yet, but it's a good time to think about preparedness and thinking about loss of power and charging your devices, staying away from down power lines, as well as making sure to check on neighbors if you lose power, and using caution with cooking or generators or any type of heating appliances if we do lose power as well. And we have a lot of good info on our website that was created by our OEM staff. So just wanted to put that out there. And with that concludes my report for the day. Glad to answer any questions you may have of me.
Thank you, Chief Priest. Do we have any questions for Chief Priest or any comments? Again, if anyone sees anyone else, let me just go through the screen here. Mayor Cantor.
Thank you. I just wanted to again thank all the personnel that was working over the holiday period, because it is definitely a call for service, and we appreciate it very much. I don't want it to go unnoticed. It's expected, but we don't want it to go unrecognized, and really appreciate it. I just want to do an extra shout out on the CPR at training. It is so important, and minutes, how critical time is, and this has been a long time priority for me for a long time ago. And actually it was Carolyn Thornbury who originally made us a heart safe community. A lot of education that happened with the AEDs and CPR, but the training of CPR is not an easy thing to do that outreach and make sure every year that we're building on that. And I just want to say that commitment again doesn't happen in every community, and I'm really appreciative of all that you've done to put in that infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Cantor. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Okay. Chief Priest, I too would like to echo what you said and thank your team for also coming in and working over the holidays. I know that's a tough thing. Again, like I said at the beginning, you all are humans as well. I know you wear that uniform and you wear it proudly, but I know sometimes it's a hard thing to break away from family gatherings, especially over the holiday when it's a special time. But I really appreciate your commitment to serve our community and to make sure others are safe as well. So again, thank you for your service. Okay, we will turn it over to Chief Riddick and his team to give us a police department update.
Good morning, and I find it interesting that we start off the conversation, with thanking folks for working. My wife and I were just talking about this topic over the holidays, and my perspective is a little bit different. It's in line. I'm very appreciative. We have to be here though. Like PD has to work, FD has to work, doctors have to work, nurses have to work, and the military has to work. The conversation my wife and I were having, because we're old enough to remember, and probably some of you are too, is when we were growing up, everything was closed. Gas stations were closed, the grocery stores were closed. All these, we didn't have the Home Depots back then, but all those stores were closed, so people for profit had the opportunity to stay home with their families. And as we've grown up, remember the old blue laws, like Sundays, things were closed on Sundays, and how our society has changed and evolved, in part for convenience, more so for profit. And what's that say about us? And as our wife and I over the holidays, for some poor folks who aren't making the money that we're making, and we really like to be home, but really didn't have to be at work, but needed to be there because whoever their employer was wanted to make a profit. Mm-hmm. So that's where our focus was, for our people too. But we sort of sign up for this, and I'm not taking it lightly, but we know what we're getting into. But for other folks who are just trying to make it, and I'm not sure if we've been paying attention to our grocery bills. And again, I did not intend to go this way, so I'm just being led because of this morning. But I am just so thankful to be working, to make a decent wage. And when we're complaining about how much eggs are in milk, but we can afford to buy it. And some of our kids they're calling us, and it's like, Mom, Pops, can you see how expensive things are? And I'm like, yeah, doesn't really impact you. But now, as I'm getting closer to retirement, as I'm getting up in age, I'm trying to look at my numbers. I'm like, oh my gosh, another 30 years from now. But anyways, another several years when I decide to shut it down, these things are going to impact your quality of life. And there's people out here who were just forced to work and love to stay home with their families, can only buy a few presents. So I'm just thankful for where we're at and our ability to assist others. And I think everyone here is probably in the same feeling. So I just appreciate that and acknowledge those and being generous to those people who don't have the liberties and the luxuries that we do, that we take advantage. You know, something as simple as a vacation. Remember one year we were upset during COVID, my wife and I couldn't take a vacation. We had to smack ourselves. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, really? So that's a luxury. So anyways, how I got there, but anyways, we'll move forward. Again, from the PD side, a very light agenda for us too. Currently we have 8 vacancies. Pistol permits through December of 2022, we had 16. In December of 2023, there were 12. In 2023, there were 9 men, 3 women. And we ended the year in 2022 with 269 pistol permits. And in 2023, there was 217. So it was a decrease. Some notable recent police activities. And I just want to note a typo on a report that I submitted because I'm getting a little absent-minded. I put 2023 and forgetting that we're in 2024, so just excuse that typo. Motor vehicle stops, we ended in 2022, we ended the year with 4,681. And last year, 2023, we ended the year with 7,365. Our community support unit, was really out there again, keeping the community safe. On December 4th, we assisted with the statewide narcotics unit and made a gun arrest, on a gun purchase and an arrest. So it was a sting operation, made an illegal gun purchase and arrested the seller. On December 7th, we recovered a stolen van. On December 14th, they assisted with the Hartford Police Department on a recovery of a stolen motor vehicle, and the operator was arrested. It was in possession of an illegal gun. On December 22nd, if we recall, there were several individuals, juveniles, who were committing retail thefts throughout the jurisdiction. Actually, they were adults, I apologize. And once we were able to work with a few other jurisdictions and made an arrest, and they had 16 outstanding arrest warrants from various jurisdictions in the region for retail theft. So that's a really good grab. And Detective Division is currently working on 2 arrests out of state, one in California and one in Florida for extradition. One involving a situation in town in which a juvenile was sending pictures of themselves and sending them out on the internet, and adult men received these pictures, knew the individual was underage and still made a purchase of the pictures. Our detectives did a really good job of tracking this case and working with the other jurisdictions to secure 3 arrest warrants. 2 individuals we've caught, and again, we're in a process of extradition right now. And then another case from a previous situation of a past sexual assault back in 2007, 2009, that made a connection in California. And that person has been arrested, and we're in that process right now. They have waived extradition to get them back to West Hartford to serve justice. Couple things, New Year's Eve, did a really good job. No major incidents, large crowds. There's only 1 arrest, just for, I think it was underage drinking. So a really good job, our personnel out there exercising discretion. And we've noticed several, small protests throughout the last couple months with the war in the Middle East. And you probably saw in the news yesterday, we had a situation at Town Hall as we were trying to do the swearing in for the clerk. And I did receive a couple questions. People were just asking me as far as, the police protocol and procedures in that situation. And, are they allowed to do that? If there's more actions they could have taken, whatever the case is. The discretion was very important yesterday. As you know, I was there with Assistant Chief Tara. We did not have any advance notice. We did not know the protesters were going to be there. It did come to our attention. We saw a bunch of people with masks, but regardless, was there a probable cause for an arrest? Yes, but is that the best utilization of police resources for that situation? Absolutely not. It would have been all over the news, probably nationally, if the kids, those youth, would have resisted at all. And it would have turned into a huge mess for what? And there really is no gain with that. I whispered into the town manager's ear. I just said, hey, I'm just going to let them go for a little longer. Just let them say what they have to say, vent for a little bit, do a few chants. Then I'll just go over and just say, hey, we want to continue on with the ceremony here. You've had your time. You're going to have to leave. And at that point, if you don't leave, we can't arrest you for disorderly conduct. But we don't want to do that. We'd appreciate it if you just would leave. And they did. And they did one more chant, and then they left. And I think that was the best way to do that. As with those who were there were some people in the crowd who did get a little upset, and we were able to de-escalate them too, and it went forward. That's just the times that we're in, and I think we did a good job and handled it the best way, the professional way, for all involved. That being said, thank you for your time. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Chief Priest. And does anybody, I'm sorry. Thank you, Chief Riddick. That's because the two of you always go back and forth. Thank you, Chief Riddick. Does anybody have questions or comments?
Well, Madam Chair, what you don't realize, like every time this happens, he crushes me after the meeting. I got to deal with the text of how everybody likes the fire department better. And you're always on his mind, and they don't think about me. So just thank you to start off this year, giving him another one in the chamber. I appreciate it.
Probably the length of your report, Chief. That was it.
Oh my. All right. Let me see. Anybody have any questions or comments? Let me go through the screen. I thought so. Mayor Cantor, go ahead.
Hi, I want to make sure the committee goes first, so I don't want to, if there's any.
Okay, I don't see, let me just go back through. All right, I don't see any hands raised from the committee members, so the floor is yours.
Thank you. No, I just also want to, Chief Riddick, thank you for your introduction. As my nephew was just deployed the day after Christmas, and it's a reminder again, like yes, absolutely, he's the first one to say I signed up for this, but it still is. Many people didn't, and we all move so fast, and it's hard to juggle everything, and we are so lucky, and we always have to remember those that are struggling. And I'm so sorry I missed. I was about an hour and a half late not late, but I knew I was going to be running very tight to so I was not going to preside, and the Lieutenant Governor ended up presiding over the swearing in. My son busted his shoulder yesterday, a couple days ago, so we've got a little issue, but whatever. C'est la vie, and we're lucky, and it's all fine. But I just I have gotten a couple of emails about protesters outside, and when does about notice on I think it's a Saturday or Sunday protest, I don't remember. And when does that become something that the police would step in? And I had a hard time answering that question, as you just sort of relayed. It's a judgment call. But this particular resident followed up and said, oh, what if there is threatening language? Would that require, or would that call for any kind of shutdown? So at what point, if you have something inside that's disrupting a meeting, I think is clearer on but outside can you give some guidance for us as we respond to residents?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You are correct. Your assessment, and inside is so much easier when it comes down to that. But again, you want to exercise discretion. And at the end of the day, what are we trying to accomplish? So externally, threatening language, well, there has to be, there's intent, and then when it comes to threatening, is it an actual threat? Now, I do not want to go down this whole rabbit hole as we saw with the university presidents. So let's make sure we have to understand that. And let's also keep in mind the First Amendment rights. And as people are protesting in the streets, as long as you're just chanting and maybe they might block some traffic for a while, let them do what they have to do. Do what the inconvenience for a short term and then go from there. But if we have people who are saying, oh, I'm going to kill you or I'm going to shoot you, and we start having that, what we normally try to do without giving out techniques and tactics, you try to take out the leader as soon as you can. You're going to have, even if you don't have intelligence, we'll be spun up really quick. You'll be able to find out like who the point people are, and then you want to try to grab those folks as soon as possible, secure them, take them away, and then normally what can happen is the crowd will disperse and they'll lose their direction. So that's really a brief summary of some of the things you try and do, but I want to make sure everybody knows that is like really the last resort. And unless you really see some actions leading to that, it's not worth your effort. It's not worth the potential for violence that may occur. And even when I gave the example of potentially, arresting the leaders or leaders, that's only if it's really starting to get spun up and really getting bad and we have to take action. Otherwise, as we saw with the protests in 2020 and everything else, it's better just to block off some roads, let them do what they have to do, deal with the inconvenience for a short period, and then move on from there. But if there's any type of violence, criminal mischief, the stealing, if they have the personnel, you take action as soon as you possibly can.
Through you, Madam Chair, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Cantor. Anybody else have any questions? Committee members or counselors? Oh my goodness. Everyone is getting used to 2024, or it's still early yet, and we just all come back from traveling. All right. Okay. Chief Riddick, I just want to thank you for your comments, your opening statements. It's funny because I just came back from Miami, and my grocery bill was pretty hefty for my daughter as well. I was like, wait, your prices are a little pricey here. So I definitely can identify those are very true words that you have stated. We have to put things into perspective, and I thank you for that. All right. Any future agenda items? If not, we will adjourn, and I will give you back some time. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Welcome again. Happy New Year 2024. Please, please, please watch each other's backs and please stay safe.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.